Evening all. We well? Not bad, mate. Not bad. Anyone see Yoda Grosjean? Ah, oh, fantastic. You... How the car just went through that fucking Arco. Halo. Oh, these people now that are still like against the Halo. You can't be now. Oh, it's an ugly car. It makes the car look ugly a bit. I don't think there's any arguments against it after today. What a crazy race, though. Wait an hour and a half at Barry. Wait an hour and a half at Barry to be rebuilt. Get underway and fucking Stroll goes on his roof. What's all that about? And then Kvyat decided to send one up the inside of him, and pretty much Kvyat tried to blow up Grosjean and make sure Stroll couldn't. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 100%. It was just funny how both of them was to do with Kvyat. Just has anything been said how he is yet, or? Yeah, that's what I've heard. Lost a shoe, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. No, God, no. I mean, I mean, bonuses. He's probably not. No, I say it. He's probably not going to have a drive in F1, so he's probably not got to worry about getting in an F1 car again. I mean, how old is he? He's 30s? Late 30s? So, you know, it's not like he's... Yeah. Oh, Gunter Steiner? It's what, yeah, he did. He was thanking the medical bloke, didn't he? And he's like, fucking hell, that was crazy. Like good old Gunter. Gary! Oh, that. Oh, God. Let's hope it wasn't in the Haas garage this weekend and all. Could you imagine that? Nah, stop. Stop fucking filming. Get out. It's too serious. Fucking hell. Yeah. It is all being built up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help when you've got two drivers that are a bit erratic anyway, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Just wow though. Fucking. Yeah. And it. Games. And it.
Red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. Slow down, please. Red flag, red flag. Drive directly to the pits. Do not.
Yeah. He's got my link, so he should be. Who can win the title tonight? Gary's still in it. Okay, now. Go on, Gary. He was leading before his knee up, yeah. He's 26 back. 26 back, Andy's 16, Emo Guy's 9, and John Boy leads. What's the stipulations for tonight, Andy, in terms of who needs what to win? So I know for commentary. Andy needs a miracle. Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. I don't know the point. I don't know what you guys score points on, so I don't know if where do you need to finish in John. But do you know what you need to do? You can do, mate. If you can do that way, I can try and work it out while I'm on comms, and we won't have our Clio Cup disaster again. Dan, at least we got the points right. Just the wrong way around. Right, cheers. When was that last night? Did I miss that? Right, best luck, lads. I'll be in my party, so good luck to all on you. Good afternoon and welcome to Motive Racing here for the touring cars at Zolder. Then we are in for the final rounds of the season tonight, round 6 here. I'm Matthew Duff and I'll be taking you through tonight's action. Currently on track we see Lauder at the moment. I'll just run you through the championship standings as they stand. Currently then we have John Boy leading the championship 9 points ahead of Emo Guy. John Boy's already out on track, and Emo Guy as well. 16 points ahead of Gary 131, who, let's not forget, missed a round due to a knee operation, so the fact he's slim with a title shout is absolutely fantastic. In 4th place, and still with a slim chance of winning this one, is Andy It looks like he's already got damage on that car, so that's not the way he'd have wanted to go. But Andy, a man who's going to try and do all he can here. Fury then currently sits in 5th place, 89 points back. Avu Alfonso, right, can't see in the lobby at the moment, sits in 6th. Unorthodox, this man comes into this one P7. X-Mark then comes in at 8th. Smoky Devil sits 9th in the standings. He's currently in the pit lane at the moment. Amazing Pie Boy then sits 10th. He's just leaving the pits now. You see in the Renault Megane. Spliff Master in 11th place then. Lodder 12th. Charlie Goff not with us, P13, and DJ Phil Green 14th on the track. So very good evening to all them guys. At the moment then, Delore, he's also joined up now for the touring cars back end of this season. So it's nice to see him out on track as well. We'll see what he can do today. Good evening to Welshie and a good evening to Beard is Live. X-Mart Team Pro Laps do it for the team, so clearly X-Mart fans in the chat. Welsh is here. A good evening to the other 8 people watching as well. Get your folks in for pole position. Only one BMW we can see on the grid, and that is Gary131. This is just a practice session to get your votes in for the race. Who you think is going to win then? As I will run through the grid order in just 2 moments. A cracking night tonight of touring car action for you then. A lot of talented drivers on this grid and a lot of talented action that we could see. As you see Andy then coming down towards the back end of his lap here so far. Gary 131 and I think John Boy just in front. Timo guys currently on the quickest time. Good evening to Jamie Brazier in the chat as well. Nice to see you all here. Oh, Andy's just rear-ended Gary coming into the final chicane there. And Gary gets a lap time invalid for that one as well. It's just amazing. Pie Boy, even it's Fury's granddad. Fury's granddad always here. Final race of the season. This should be an absolute cracking event, to be fair, tonight. We should see some real good racing. Championships on the line. Championships to be decided in the final round of the season. Absolute great action we are in store for. Here's Lauder then, coming down towards the back end of his lap. Final chicane coming up to him now. Tricky circuits, Older. A few chicanes, few sharp corners. A lot of long corners as well. So you've got to make sure that you're on it every single corner. You cannot fail to make a mistake at one corner because it really ruins your lap time in terms of qualifying for the second race. It could really destroy your race as well in terms of doing that. Bit of a twitch there, you see, very wide, you can end up in the gravel trap. Such a wide circuit is the first part is as well, where we see Lodder on the left hand, and then you've got like a double right here. Again, very wide on the exit there is Lodder. Well, that's exactly what you want to be. Onto another right hander. You get a good stretch of straight here down towards the chicane. Towards the chicane he goes now, left, right. Try not to hit the second part of curbs. You just see them stick up ever so slightly and they can just throw the car off balance a little bit and make it bounce across the track. And that could really hurt you that time, get the car just unstable. Again, same here, watch that second part of the chicane. It dips, you see there mid-corner, just dips a bit. And again there, just got that chance of the car just getting a bit unstable as you come through the second part of that chicane. Really fast flowing section here then before you come into one of the sharpest corners on the circuit. Sharp right hander and Lodder does really well there, flat out through this little left right kick, excuse me. A good stretch of straight then before you come down towards the final chicane for the final time. 3 minutes 30 left in this practice session. John Boy currently the quickest, 6 tenths from Emo Guy and Andy. Lodder's about to cross the line here. He's at P9, but what's he going to do? He improves by 6 seconds and puts himself up into P5. The only BMW on track is this man, Gary131. The only BMW, and you see just a bit twitchy there on the exit of turn 3. So Sorry, turn 2, just come round turn 3 now. It'll be interesting to see what this man can do tonight. A lot of work to do from his position, 16 points back in the championship. He's in a better place than Andy, but what can he do from here? That is going to be the main question, I suppose. Through the chicane, it just BMW looks a bit unsettled here, to be fair. Doesn't look like it wants to turn in as much as Gary would like, and you see him just losing the rear there all over the back part of that circuit. Just getting a bit two wheels on the grass. 2 minutes remaining in this practice session, and we'll be right underway to get away for qualifying. Evening to Monkey Boy and Ben Parkey as well in the chat, another X-Mark fan, and evening to Monkey Boy as well. Gary then coming down towards the final part of his lap now. Is he finally going to get a time on the board? Only him, Smokey Devil and DJ Phil having a look at Gary just sliding that BMW all around here. Not what he'd be wanting. Andy's improved his time to go within a tenth, and what can Gary do? Gets on the board? No. Emo guy then in the monster liveried Renault Megane, 9 points off the championship leader. What's in store for him tonight? What can we expect to see from this man? This man then has a lot of work to do as well. 9 points is not a margin that is going to be made up quickly. He's got to hope that John Boy has a not a bad night, but not a particularly good one either. Unorthodox has gone into P4. Currently only Gary, Smokey Devil and DJ Phil without a lap time. We're about to see Emo guy cross the line, and is he going to improve? 6 tenths down at the moment. He crosses the line now and improves by 3 tenths to narrow that gap to this man. P1 at the moment on track, as he looks like he's just recovered from an off, but also P1 in the championship. Darren Porter prolapse for the win. Go X-Mart, he says. So another X-Mart fan, team prolapse. And Bethany and Duff in the evening all should be here to cheer on Gary 131, that's for sure. John Boy then comes into the pits, as is Unorthodox and Delore, so they will not get a time in with 30 seconds remaining. Then Andy's just gone quickest overall, and this is a man 26 points behind, can mathematically still win the title, and can really put a challenge on for it. Andy's a very quick driver in himself, and I'm sure who will want to prove to him and others around that he's up for the challenge and up for the fight. Here is X-Mart then for all you X-Mart fans in the chat. As the session is complete, so we are just going to wait for the drivers to finish their lap times and get across the line. Gary's finally got a lap time on the board, but it's 3.5 seconds slower, so that is not what he will want at all here. So far going into tonight, putting himself on the back foot after practice. If he has another lap, he could improve. Smart getting a lovely toe off the Swiftmaster just in front then in the Mercedes. There is Emo Guy, you see now 4 tenths off the pole, pretty much 5 tenths off the pole, so can Emo Guy improve? That will be a question. Let's see if Emo Guy can improve then. And he doesn't that time around. What about X-Mart? Can Spliffmaster jump up from 9th? No, X-Mart improves slightly. Just trying to look at who else is out on a lap. Lauder's done, Fury's done, as is Gary. Smokey Devil's about to cross the line here. No lap time from him. DJ Phil, the last man, looks like who's on a lap. Sorry, Fury's on a lap as well. He's going to come into the pits though, so what does DJ Phil Green do here? Just wait for him to cross the line and we'll be able to see what kind of lap time he's got in store for us. Round in the final corner now. Down the start straight he comes. What kind of time can DJ Phil do? Should put him above Smokey Devil. Then, and not quite yet. So Andy quickest in the free practice session that we had here from John Boy and Emo Guy. The other title challenger Gary down in P11.12. So he's got work to do going into the race, in which will be coming up shortly, but we're just going to take a quick little break before we head to the qualifying, and then I'll go through the grid order as well. So stay tuned while we just get the grid sorted out. Okay then, so it looks like the drivers have readied up and they are sorted with their strategies and setups then. I will just quickly run through the grid while these guys get into order. So we should expect to see DJ Phil Green on the pole position, followed by Lodder P2, Spliff Master in P3. Amazing Pie Boy should line up in 4th with Smoky Devil P5. X-Mart will line up in 6th place and Orthodox 7th. Fury in 8th, Andy 9th, Gary 10th, Emo Guy 11th. Excuse me, I apologise. Just keep sort of. Emo Guy in 11th, John Boy P12 and Delore will line up P13, bearing in mind he is a new driver for tonight. So at the moment DJ Phil is on the pole position where he should be, followed by Lodder, Spliff Master, Amazing Pie Boy, Smoky Devil, Hexmar, Unorthodox, Fury, Andy, Gary, Emo Guy, John Boy and Delore. So we are all ready here, we are all set, 16 people watching. Get a like down on the stream below. Get your predictions in for who you think is going to win round the first race, the sprint race tonight. As we head into our final couple of rounds of the season, the final round tonight, but the sprint and feature race to commence. So lots of points on offer for everybody. Back end of the lap. When will DJ Phil think about going here? Come around now to the final couple of corners. When does DJ Phil decide to go? Surely he's not going to go until after the chicane. But will he try and catch everybody out? Let's just wait and see then. So then, at the moment, 9 points between John Boy and Emo Guy, 16 between John Boy and Gary, and 26 between John Boy and Andy. Then 4 for the championship tonight. And who is going to take it? It's DJ Phil round to the final corner, and it looks like we're about ready to go here. And he's gone. It's racing. We are green here at Zolder then for the sprint race tonight. And it's go, go, go for DJ Phil, who's already made a good start ahead of Lodder. They've dropped Spliffmaster already. Amazing Pie Boy and Smoky Devil trying to make a few moves on each other. Look at Smoky Devil. Look up the inside. Oh, and a bit of lag there. And that puts Smoky Devil and Amazing Pie Boy into the side of each other. Unorthodox trying to attack Amazing Pie Boy, and he does so well there, as is Andy. Can Gary follow through around the outside? John Boy and Emo Guy currently battling it out for 10th and 11th. Dolores dropped back a little bit from these guys. Emo Guy having a look on Gary 131, and Gary shuts that door early, but Emo Guy's going to look around the outside here on Gary 131, and he's had a tap with John Boy, and John Boy's had a bit of a slide and has managed to hang on there. And what a save from John Boy. He's managed to keep that car going somehow. Not quite sure how he's done that, but brilliant stuff from him. You see the cars up front, Gary and Emo Guy battling it out already. What can them two do? 10th and 11th this is for at the moment. They come up over the hill then and down towards the first chicane, the second part of the chicanes, and Gary looking up the inside, but Emo Guy's covered him off well there. Andy made a bit of progress up into P8, so the start he'd wanted with the championship leader still down, and Emo Guy has had a tap with Amazing Pie Boy and he's off. Emo Guy's gone onto the grass and X-Mark's been overtaken now, and John Boy and Gary have a bit of a touch again, and John Boy all over the place. Delore has managed to get past. Emo Guy is back past Gary. Did Gary have a bit of a slowdown? He's going to try and attack Delore, but Gary's also up the inside, and Emo Guy's been spun, and there's a big incident between Delore and Amazing Pie Boy. John Boy's got through up into P9 here so far, and I tell you what, Emo Guy tried to defend from, tried to overtake Amazing Pie Boy, but Gary was still up his inside, so couldn't really get the job done there. John Boy though up into P9, Andy up into 7th, and he's looking to attack Smoky Devil, who up front is trying to attack Fury, who he's trying to attack Spliffmaster around the outside. You see Fury just gives Spliff a bit of a tap. There's DJ Phil all sideways, and oh, Andy's been tapped! Andy's been tapped by Smoky Devil. He's on the grass, he rejoins now. X-Mark caught up with Smoky Devil as well. John Boy and Gary get past Smoky Devil. Andy has a slowdown penalty, or does he have to re-give the place? I'm not sure here. But Andy will have X-Mark attacking him at the back in a time now. In fact, X-Mark's going around the outside, and so is John Boy. Andy manages to keep it up the inside of John Boy though, and keep that position for the time being then, and currently stays P7. John Boy's up to 8th with Gary in 9th place, Smoky Devil 10th. Emo Guy down in 11th, but this man Lodder has the lead by 1.5 seconds so far, doing a fantastic job at the moment. Unorthodox has got himself up into 2nd place from mid-pack, so a good start for Unorthodox as well here. DJ Phil still sits in 3rd. Which is an absolute cracking job from him. Spliffmaster running 4th, and on the back of DJ Phil with Fury all over the back of him. And on board the bonnet view of Fury then, this is what it looks like. Spliffmaster having a look to the outside. Fury, is there a bit of a tap there? I'm not sure. I don't think there was. And is he going to come out the exit of this and be in front of DJ Phil? It looks like it so far. He's tucked back in behind DJ Phil for the time being. X-Mark in front of Andy then, who's up to 7th place with John Boy 8th, Gary 9th, Smoky Devil time penalty down in 10th. Emo Guy then in 11th place, and Fury now has that job done on DJ Phil, but DJ Phil's got Spliffmaster all over the back of him, and look at this for the lead. It's Lodder with Unorthodox all over the rear end of him. He was 1.5 in front at the beginning of this lap, was Lodder, and now he's defending heavily from Unorthodox, but he squeezes one up the inside, and Unorthodox will take P1 of this race and will start to cruise away with it now. Good job from Unorthodox. Lodder down to P2, Fury's up to 3rd. DJ Phil still fending off Spliffmaster at the moment. Them 12 time penalties. X-Mark gaining on the back of that battle though, with Andy, John Boy, Gary 131, who's just dropping off the pace a little bit here. Emo Guy has passed Smoky Devil then as well. Gary just dropping off the back of Andy and John Boy. And you see the train of cars in front on board with Andy. DJ Phil having to defend from Spliffmaster. Spliff going to make it work around the outside. I tell you what, it's a cracky manoeuvre. But he's got that one absolutely done as Spliffmaster. Good job from him. DJ Phil now coming under pressure from X-Mark. If I was Andy, wouldn't want to get caught up in this. He needs them places over the likes of John Boy, so he may have to attack. In fact, Andy has already got past DJ Phil, so is John Boy. DJ Phil now trying to defend from Gary 131, and Gary cuts to the inside of DJ Phil, and DJ Phil's ran very, very wide there, and Emo Guy and Gary going at it for round 2. What's going to happen is we come down to where they touched last time around. Gary goes defensive over Emo Guy, and Emo Guy cannot get the move done this time around. X-Mark then still just in front of Andy, John Boy and Gary. 1-3-1 with Gary side by side with with Emo Guy at the moment then. Gary manages to pull that one off. Defends it nicely. That's Xmart up in P5, having a look over Spliffmaster. So for all these Xmart fans in the chat, look at him, he's going around the outside. Spliffmaster must have had a better run coming through the final corner and gets that one done before turn 1. Is Andy going to have a look as well? Spliffmaster a bit of a twitch on the exit of the corner. And I think Andy's going to have a look, but he's got John Boy attacking him. John Boy's going to try and follow Spliffmaster through and stick it up the inside. There is Andy. John Boy currently up into P5. Spliffmaster down in 7th. This is onboard Spliff side by side as they come to the next right hand of turn 3. Where is John Boy? He slides that car out wide a little bit. Oh, and Spliffmaster's tapped the rear of Andy, and Andy's around. Can you believe it? The champion. Oh, he's up in the air. I think Andy's landed the wrong side of the barrier. Emo Guy looked like he got caught up in that as well. Andy's back going, but down in P10 his championship hopes have been shattered here. Spliffmaster just tapped him around. I think Emo Guy must have collected him afterwards. But it's going the way of this man so far. John Boy will be happy to see the championship rivals struggling down the order. What a shame for Andy, because he was having such a good race. Emo Guy caught up in yet another incident. He's not going to be happy, just like we did on Orthodubs on Tuesday night in the Tier 2 Clios. Caught up in too many incidents, it cost him his title. Emo Guy is at the title, starting to slowly slip away from him. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, feature race still to come. Anything can happen. He's not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. And John Boy only sits P5. So he's only scoring points good enough for 23 at the moment. Emo Guy will get points of 14, sorry. And Andy down in P10 will get 8 points to his name. That isn't enough. Gary bringing himself right back into contention as well, especially if he can get on the back of John Boy. Fury splits him and John Boy at the minute, as John Boy is now up into P4. So good job from John Boy here. Gary just seems to struggle for pace. On Orthodubs though, he's got his head down up front. He is cruising up the road. He's on Orthodubs here. On board him now as the cameraman decides to have a day off and not pick him up straight away. On Orthodubs, 6 seconds up the road from Lodder. Here's Lodder then with Xmart and John Boy all over the back of him. And look at John Boy, he was having a look there into this chicane, but thought better of it this time around. Try and set him up with 10 minutes, just under 10 minutes remaining in this one then. Andy's on the back of Delore here, coming into the chicane. Work to do in the customised Renault Megane with no rear spoiler, rear bumper, front bumper, bonnet. It's got the squish roof. Andy rocking the new Megane here. And it's got past Delore pretty easy there. So Andy up into P8. And he hunts down Emo Guy once again. Gary 1-3-1 trying to get back on the back of Fury and John Boy. They are all sat behind Lodder here for P2. Xmart on the back of him as well. So can John Boy get a look on Xmart here? Maybe jump up another place or two. 2 cars in front of him, he could easily pass. He needs to go after an Orthodubs. Could do with that race win. It will eliminate Andy pretty much from the title race as it stands at the moment. Andy will score 14 points and John Boy will score 25. All but eliminating Andy from the championship order so far. And that is Lodder very wide. And did Xmart capitalise on it? No, he didn't. But John Boy looks like he's going to have a look. There, just a look at the moment for the time being. Gary's not really gaining on Fury that much. And here then, Xmart. Lodder has a time penalty, so no worries for Xmart to get past at the moment. It's good for his money so far. John Boy just being patient here. He knows he leads his title rivals. He's got nothing to lose at the moment and he's just being a bit patient, just trying to bide his time and get everybody back up. Did it look like Gary had a problem? Yeah, Gary, I thought Gary had a problem there at the bottom of the screen, and he has. He's rejoining the track now, just going to be ahead of Emo Guy. But Gary 1-3-1 struggling in that BMW, and here comes Emo Guy. He's got the run on Gary and gets that job done into the second chicane and comes right in front of him to make sure he's got that job properly sorted out. So Gary down to 7th and Emo Guy up into P6 then. John Boy still on the back of this little train for P2. Xmart and Lodder have a time penalty, so He knows he's going to be guaranteed second place if he keeps it there. Doesn't need to do anything stupid at the moment. His championship rivals are all battling behind him, a lot lower down the order than what they'd have liked. X-Mark still looking on the back of Lauder then. Fury on the back of this pack as well, and X-Mark has a look now, and X-Mark has passed Lauder with ease. Where is John Boy going to do it? Is Fury going to try and follow him through, or is Fury going to make his 3 wide into turn 1? He is going to make it 3 wide into turn 1, and John Boy just has to run a bit wide there and a bit slidey, and John Boy's tapped with Lauder, and Lauder is round, and I tell you what, when he goes your way, it's going your way. John Boy's had a few incidents in this one, which he's managed to keep the car pointing forward, and there's another example of it where John Boy has kept going here, and he's now still he is still P4 after Fury got past. But he's jumped Lauder though, so that's one out of the way. Needs to get past Fury now. Gary still trying to hunt down Emo Guy, who now are on the back of this man, Lauder. Andy down in P8. They're trying to gain on Andy as well, gain on Gary as well. Gary just seems to be struggling in the only BMW on the grid. Lauder after being caught up with John Boy there. Now has Emo Guy all over his rear chuff. Is Emo Guy going to have a look at where he passed Gary? Is he going to try and go later on the brakes into the chicane? No, not this time around. He's going to be patient and wait for it. Fury runs third, but there's X-Mark second, and John Boy sitting in P4. Lauder's down in fifth with Emo Guy all over the back of him. Gary trying to chase him down, and Andy's trying to get Gary as well. It's a good little scrap. There's a couple of battles on track that look quite good at the moment. DJ Phil is amazing. Pie Boy, who looks like he's made a mistake and caught up Spliff. Mastering all of that one. That's unfortunate for them guys, but X-Mark feeling the pressure now from Fury. 5.5 minutes to go in this one. Tell you what, Dan has done a cracking job on Orthodox Heights. He has been absolutely fantastic. Dan's the man. And he's been absolutely brilliant so far. X-Mark as well, top stuff from this guy. Great racing. Fury had a bit of a slide there, and John Boy, has he capitalised on that slide from Fury? He goes up the inside, and that's P3 for John Boy then. Fury, a bit of a slide coming out to turn 1, and that forced him a bit wider than he'd have liked, and John Boy now up into P3. TJ Phil's got into the pits. There are no mandatory pit stops in this race. It's the feature race coming up next, and John Boy's on the curve and has a slide, and he's managed to hold it. I tell you what, the championship leader at the moment, making just a few mistakes, but it's going his way so far. Fury though, attacking and attacking and attacking into the chicane, and gets back past John Boy. Job done, nice and easy for him. Lauder has Emo Guy up his inside into the chicane, and Emo Guy's tapped the rear of Lauder, and Lauder and Emo Guy are off into the gravel. Gary back up into P5. Andy 6th, following the back of Gary, and Emo Guy drops to 7th, loses 2 places. Tapped to the back of Lauder. And around he went, not what he'd have wanted. Dan, 8 seconds in the lead, 4 minutes 12 remaining. This man X-Mark, P2, a couple of seconds up the road from Fury and John Boy. Gary then, work to do if he wants to catch the cars in front. Can he catch the cars in front? He's got Andy all over the rear end of him. What can Andy do about Gary? 131 then. Emo Guy in the background again has work to do to catch the cars in front. Seems to be John Boy's night, but it doesn't seem to be this man's night at all so far. Lauder, well, how unfortunate for him. He was up front on his own earlier. He's now down P8, Spliffmaster 9th. Dolores 10th from the back of the grid. Amazing Pie Boy down in 13th. DJ Phil 12th. It's Smoky Devil 13th. Sorry, Amazing Pie Boy was 11th. Fury though has John Boy really with him for company now. And John Boy here just trying to play it cool. He's just keeping his cards close to his chest at the moment. He's got a good run on Fury coming out to turn 3. Is it good enough though to get the job done around the outside into the chicane? I think it's not. I think he's going to let Fury break into the chicane nice and easy, and Fury gets that position back then. So still P3 for Fury and P4 for John Boy. Doing exactly what he needs to do here. He knows his rivals are behind him. He knows he's not going to do anything stupid to put his title fight in jeopardy going into the feature race later. Really driving a good race, John Boy, Gary and Andy, P5 and 6. well off the back of these. 5 seconds is that gap. What can Andy do about Gary 131? Gary up on his delta, you see there, for his best lap time. Andy just tucking in, keeping it tight, keeping it nice and neat. 2 minutes left on the clock. So we've got time for another 2 laps. The one they're on and they've one after. As unorthodox as 8.5 up the road. Is Andy going to have a look now into turn 1? Let's see. Got a good run here. And he is going to look into turn 1, and he's got a good move there. Gary has to get on that brakes a bit more, and Andy has a bit of a twitch. So does Gary mid-corner. And Andy's got that job done into P5 then now. He has a time penalty as well, so Gary's just got to stick with him. Gary will know he's got a time penalty as well. He'll be able to see it on his screen. So Gary's just got to stick with Andy here. And he'll be able to gain that P5 back. Back to John Boy though. He's looking on the outside of Fury into the chicane again, and he lets Fury have it. Oh, and they tap a little bit, and Fury's gone wide, and John Boy flashes him to let him have that place back then. So a bit of a mistake there from Fury. John Boy just tapping the back of Fury. And that meant that he had to give the place back as soon as he could, and he did it straight away pretty much. There's Andy and Gary in the background, slowly gaining on the back of these guys. X-Mark though. Team Prolapse fans in the chat for X-Mark. He's on the podium at the minute. He's 8 seconds off for this man here, unorthodox, who's going to come around and start the final lap of the race. He has been absolutely fantastic in this one. Take nothing away from X-Mark as well. He's had a great drive. What can Fury and John Boy do? Well, what about Gary and Andy in the background? Oh, look at this little scrap. Gary having a look on Andy. He got the run out the slow corner. He's having a look down into the final chicane and gets that job done. Gets it stopped in as well, coming into the final chicane to go to the final lap. And his Fury had a slowdown penalty because John Boy's gone past. And I tell you what, the top second, third and fourth with with time penalties to be added on at the end, as is Andy. Gary, if he gets close enough to John Boy and Fury, could be in for a few extra points here. But John Boy up into P3 and on the podium, crucially. That's what he would have wanted. Gary has been re-overtaken by Andy then, so that battle continuing. Gary 131 right on the chuff of Andy, pushing him along. Good little battles up and down the grid. Emo guy's not rekindled that fine form we saw him have early on in this race. But where's Gary going to have a look on Andy here then? Into the first chicane. Can't get it done there, can Gary. In fact, Andy looks like he's gapped him a bit coming on the exit to the chicane there. As it stands at the minute, John Boy will score 27 points, Andy will score 23, Gary 20, and Emo Guy will score 17. So not enough to take the championship yet, but enough to maybe just knock Andy out of the running. We'll have to see with the time penalties at the end. Gary 131 trying to stick to the back of Andy, and while all that has happened, Unorthodox has won this race. He's that far out in front, congrats to him. X-Mart takes a second place then. John Boy will get on the podium and Fury will take P4. In fact, Fury gets on the podium, so Fury takes P3 away from John Boy then. Andy goes crosses the line 5th, but Gary takes him with the time penalty, so Gary 5th, Andy 6th. Emo Guy is going to cross the line in P7, with Lodder coming home in 8th place. In fact, Lodder has jumped. Lodder and Emo Guy actually have gone above Andy, so I don't know what time penalty Andy had, but Andy dropping down to 8th. That is not good for his title chances here. Spliff Master's going to come home in P9 then. Good drive from him. Delore P10. Amazing Pie Boy is going to cross the line in 11th. Smoky Devils past DJ Phil here on this for 12th and 13th, both with a time penalty, so it just depends who's got the least amount, I suppose. DJ Phil close enough to Smoky Devil that if he's got a less time penalty, he could beat him and get that 12th place. But Smokey Devil looks like he's going to take 12th. DJ Phil will cross the line 13th. And that is all she wrote. Unorthodox then, your race 1 winner, Fury, on the podium with X-Mart as well. X-Mart second, Fury third. Championship set rivals, John Boy 4th, Gary 5th, Emo Guy 6th. Andy with a 35-second time penalty down in P8. So not what he'd have wanted. But we're going to be right back after a short break. So don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back for the feature race. Is there a point for fastest lap? No. No worries. I'll double check in the... Yep, she sent me a party invite, so I'll just double check with them. Is there a point for fastest lap? There is. You got fastest lap there, Andy, didn't you? Yeah, I did. And then I think, did Ian catch you after? Because I just saw your car light in the air. So that changes. So that's 250. So 286. Oh, is that Grosjean in the hospital? Yeah, my brother's just sent me that. John Boy fucking got tapped about 4 times. Yeah. 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 You wouldn't have done what Spliffmaster did to Andy there. Yeah, you're not no like, but I mean like if you've seen John Boy and Andy side by side, you ain't gonna then try and follow John Boy and send one up the inside. Do you know what I mean? I think so. At the chicane, I seen you, but the camera angle makes it look like you tapped his rear, so you don't quite get to see it properly. Yeah, the camera angle's sort of on the opposite side of the track, so by the time you get to its breaking point at chicane, you can't quite see what's happened. The camera angle doesn't do it justice, sort of thing. I think I said on the stream, I thought you hit him, but obviously the camera angle, you see it better than I do from you driving. So, yeah. Mm. Yeah. I thought he landed over the barrier at one stage. So Andy needs to win fastest lap and John Boy not score any points. Or you guys. Gary needs a win with John Boy 7th or lower, and Ian, you need a win with John Boy 6th or lower. Okay. Yeah. John Boy's had a night that was pretty much the opposite to what Dan had in the Clios the other night. Every time John Boy got tapped, he'd have a massive slide, he'd save it, he'd keep going. You look. Sorry, Dan. So subject. Oh, you won the LMP2s? Oh, well done, Dan. See, you don't need Clios. They're for pansies.
Right now, when I finished Clios, I was burning in anger.
Experience last season.
Right. I'm going to jump into my own party again so I can get ready for commentary. Apologies for the delay, I'm back and we have 8 minutes left on the clock, and Andy currently is your provisional pole man so far. He's all but out of the title, needs an absolute miracle to win it. He's up for a race win in a hard fought fight though at the end. He's going to give it his all till the final whistle, if you like. This man sits still in the driver's seat so far. He's that title by a bit more. He's so close to winning the touring car title here, season 5. The touring cars on Orthodox P3 so far. He's about to cross line. Will he improve? Let's see. Does improve and goes up into P2, and John Boy then goes on to provisional pole as well, so good qualifying from John Boy. Fury's up into 4th, Emo Guy 5th, not the race he'd wanted in race 1. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's trying to go out with a bang, and can he go out with that bang and title at the very end? Delorey's gone up into 4th, so a heck of a lap from him. And then Gary 131 still down in 9th, struggling in this car at the moment, but he as well needs a miracle if he's to win this title today. 10th place now as X-Mart's gone into 9th place and so far. So it's John Boy, Andy, Unorthodox, Lauder, Delore, Fury, Emo Guy, Spliff Master, X-Mart, Gary 131, Amazing Pie Boy, Smokey Devil and DJ Phil. DJ Phil about to cross the line here and can't improve on his lap time. Andy's in the pits and John Boy currently on provisional pole at the moment. But what lap time can he set then if he's going to try and hold on to it? John Boy then really in the driver's seat going forward into the championship race here in this feature race at Zolder. A few track limits and to validate some people's lap times who just came in. It's not the best. Improve any of that last time around. Where's Emo Guy's down in 7th? He couldn't improve. Where's Gary? He's coming across the line now. Can he manage to make up any ground? 4 seconds off the pole time so far, and he makes up 3.1 and puts himself up into P4. He's 9/10 off that pole time now then. So what can he do? Emo Guy down in 9th, struggling to get the car to get a good lap in as well here. Had a few run-ins with people in race 1. It's kind of ruined his championship chances going into tonight. I'm sure it's not the way he'd have wanted to bow out of this championship fight, if you will. But let's see what he can do. Got John Boy actually getting a good slipstream off of him here then. To see what he can do. Can John Boy improve on his time? That's DJ Phil popped up at the side of the road, not quite sure why. So yellow flags will be waving. Coming up towards the start line. What's Emo Guy going to do? 2 seconds down on the pole position lap time at the moment. What can Emo Guy do as he's about to cross the line? He's got, like I say, he's got John Boy getting a hefty toe off of him. John Boy sets a new fastest lap and goes 7/10 quicker than Andy. Emo Guy stays down in P9. Where is Andy? We've just gone around the first part, turn 3 then. So Gary, he's about to come across the line. What can he do with 3 minutes, just under 4 minutes remaining? Gary crosses the line here and is 3/10 down, so cannot improve on his lap time there at all. Lauder. And oh, he's just had a bit of a spin and gets tapped around by Smokey Devil. John Boy though, when the cameraman decides to pick him up, currently sat on provisional pole. He's doing a cracking job, 2/10 down through sector 1. Can he be up any time through that middle or final sector? Let's wait to see. Let's wait to find out what he can gain. And he's just got a lap time invalid. In fact, John Boy has a lap time invalid as well. That's Emo Guy behind him. Down in 9th still, so can Emo Guy find any more pace here to try and take a few more positions late on? Let's wait and see. Got a heck of a job to do as Emo Guy here, and I think he knows he's got to fight and fight hard. By a tenth or so as he crossed the line. Not enough really to do anything. What's Gary 131 going to do? He's got, that's either Unorthodox or Andy just behind him getting a toe from him. Gary crosses the line, no improvement. That's Unorthodox who's getting the toe off of Gary, and Unorthodox goes up into P3 then, ahead of Fury, who was sat third for the time being. But can't hold on to that one at the minute then. Gary off a second behind him. X-Mart up in 6th, crosses the line, stays P6th. Lodder coming to the end of his lap. DJ Phil still parked on the side of the road, not quite sure why. But Lodder then, down the start straight he goes. Can he improve on his time, or has he got a lap time invalid? Doesn't improve there. Delore, he's come to the back end of his lap. Emo Guy's midway through. Spliff Master as well. Amazing Pie Boy just on the start of his lap. So is Smoky Devil. Andy though, he's coming to the back end of his lap. 7/10 off of pole position. John Boy drove really well so far in the first race. Can he repeat that race too? He's doing the job in qualifying. And Andy's going to cross the line now. Cannot gain any more time. Where is Emo Guy then? He's dropped a bit behind John Boy. What is John Boy going to do coming through the final chicane? Delore's just crossed the line. He stays P8 at the moment. What can John Boy do here? No improvement for him. Emo Guy crosses the line and finds 3/10 to put himself up into P7. Gary 131's in the pits and will not get another run in. Neither will Lodder then, so them two are done for the day. Unorthodox coming through the final corner. As a lap time invalid, so we'll really have to go for it this time around. If he wants to take pole, Amazing Pie Boy's just got a lap time invalid down in P11. Here he is crossing the line, so that may as well be him done. That could be a current and next, we'll have to wait and see. So far it's John Boy, 7/10 out in front from Andy. Unorthodox P3, Fury's in 4th, Gary's 5th but in the pits. X-Mart sits 6th place. Emo Guy 7th, Lodder 8th but in the pits. Spliff Master in 9th, Delore 10th, Amazing Pie Boy 11th, Smoky Devil 12th, and DJ Phil 13th. But DJ Phil's been parked up on the side of the road for quite a while now. Not quite sure why. Let's see what Smoky Devil can do. Goes across the line and stays P12. Who's next up across the line then? It will be Andy. Now can Andy gain any time as he crosses the line here? He gains a lot of time, but it's 2/10 too short for Andy. Not what he'd have wanted. What can this man do? Looks like he's going to bring it into the pit lane. He's not finished his lap. Delore will cross the line and goes up into P6. So a good lap time from him. X-Mart still on a lap. So is Spliff Master. John Boy went in the pits, but I think Unorthodox is still on a lap. He is indeed. So let's go back to Spliff Master, see what Spliff Master can do. Any improvement for the Spliff Master? No. Unorthodox, can he take pole away from John Boy? No, he can't. He can't improve neither. So Delore's done. X-Mart then will be the final guy to finish qualifying, apart from DJ Phil, who is sat at the side of the road. X-Mart, I think, may have a lap time invalid. He does. He's gone into the pit. So we just wait for this man. But your current grid will be John Boy, Andy, Unorthodox, Fury, Gary 131, Delore, X-Mart, Emo Guy, Lodder, Spliff Master, Amazing Pie Boy, Smoky Devil, and then this man DJ Phil, who we are just waiting to finish. And that will be everybody on the qualifying grid. So John Boy, your pole sitter then, and what can he do from here? Can he take that race 2, the feature race win? It's a 28 lap race here, so we'll have to wait and see what he can do in terms of victory. Andy will be out to get that final race win of the season. He's not good at go down fighting, that is for sure. Now we just wait to see who can do what then. So then it looks like we're about ready and it's about set to get underway. The lights are on all the cars. We're away here at Zolder for the final time this season in the touring car category, and it's a good start from John Boy. Andy's going to tuck him behind, but as well you'd expect that BMW to make a good start, and Gary's already up into second place and he's doing what he needs to do for that title. John Boy just running a little wide there, and Gary doing exactly what he needs to do at the moment for this championship, and that is being right on pace, getting a good start in that BMW. And in fact, is he looking up the inside of John Boy into turn 3? I think he is, you know, and he is doing brilliant move from Gary then. So Gary's going to take the race lead here so far. And a cracking move that from Gary, 131. Into the lead of this race he goes. And I'm sure he's not going to make it easy for John Boy. He knows what he needs to do for the title, but he's going to have to give it absolute full beans today. Lap 9 is the pit window open, and John Boy and Gary go side by side into the chicane, and they come out of it well there. John Boy running second place. Fiori's gone up into P3 then. Andy defending from unorthodox there, up in 4th and 5th. Lot of 6th. The Emo guys into 7th. Having X-Mart attack him on the back, and look at that, who's that around? That's DJ Phil, Smoky Devil, Spliff Master, all getting, no, not Spliff Master, Amazing Pie Boy, apologies, all getting caught up in a little altercation there, and DJ Phil's come out of it the worst, and he's facing the wrong way, and gets through the chicane now then, but back up front, Fiori having to attack John Boy here for second place. So try and look around the outside, but John Boy was going to try and force him wide. And for John Boy here, he's having to defend heavy from Fiori. That he can't attack Gary 131 at the moment, and I'm sure that is not what he wants so far. John Boy really having to defend at the moment. Not what he'd have wanted to do at all. Gary getting away as well here, so John Boy having to defend heavy from Fiori. Andy's still there with unorthodox. X-Mark's safe. What's happened to Emo Guy? He's dropped down to P9. So that's not what Emo Guy would have wanted then, to drop down a few places here. Shame that for Ian, because he was looking quick in race 1. Can he rekindle that form race 2 and get back to his fighting best? Flying Scotsman will want to do so. John Boy just gaining slightly on Gary 131 then. Renault Megane of John Boy starting to reel in that BMW. In fact, he's having a look on Gary. I'm sure Gary will keep it tucked up nicely, defend his line when he needs to. It's a train of 5 Renault Meganes here, 4 Renault Meganes and a BMW, sorry. And Gary's got them all behind him so far, trying to take the final win. He looked good early on. Fury's made a mistake there and gone a little wide. That's allowed Andy up into P3 and Unorthodox into 4th. Fury's just dropped off the back, and that's X-Mark trying to gain on him as well. Emo Guy's down to 10th place now. We go back to the battle at the front. Look, as the fog just starts to roll in here at Zolder. Gary took wins early on this season. Can he claim another one towards the back end of the season? I'm sure he'd absolutely love to. Just trying to break that toe of John Boy's there. Andy sticking with him. What's happened to Unorthodox? Unorthodox has dropped down to P6 somewhere, so I'm not quite sure what's happened to him, but he's dropped down the order a little bit. John Boy managing to stick with Gary. Andy's trying to stay with both of them as well. And is John Boy going to look up the inside of Gary into turn 2? He does, but he can't get it done. Gary just leaves that door open. In fact, runs a lot wider than he'd have probably wanted to, but he's managed to keep his foot in and keep that pace down, and John Boy can't do nothing about it so far at the moment. He's still going to have to settle for second place on track so far. Andy trying to stay with these two up front. Lap 3 of 28 here. So let's see when these three decide to pit then. Oh, Gary a bit wide on the exit to the chicane there. That's not what Gary would have wanted. And John Boy's got a cracking run on him here then, coming up down towards the second chicane. And John Boy thinks about it, but tucks back in behind Gary. Gary defends very well there from John Boy. Andy doing a cracking job, the other championship contender at the moment. Gary's got a slowdown penalty. He's going slow. He must have had a slowdown. He tucks back in behind Andy, but Gary pulled off the racing line, did his slowdown, and John Boy now leads from Andy. Gary tucked up in 3rd. Emo Guy sits P8. He's got past Delore. Apologies for that just coming up on the screen then. So Emo Guy up into P8. Not the race he'd have wanted. He can still see his championship rivals up front though. But John Boy leads then, coming at the end of lap 3 and start lap 4. Can Andy stay with him? The question is, can Gary stay with the both of them? Struggled for pace in race 1. Can he have that pace in race 2 to stick with them? Let's wait and see. X-Mark's picked himself up a time penalty, and Unorthodox is back into P4. There he is. Fury's dropped down to 5th, X-Mark's 6th, the Spliffmaster 7th all over the back of him. Emo Guy's trying to gain on the back of them as well. In 8th, Delore's down 9th, Lodder's 10th, Smoky Devil 11th, for the Amazing Pie Boys 12th, and DJ Phil 13th. And what's happened out front as Andy, with a time penalty just pop up, has taken the lead of this race. But John Boy's attacking back here at Zolder. Not going to think about it there. Gary trying his best to stick with him. He's got Unorthodox catching him though. Unorthodox, a sprint race winner. Drove so well in that race 1. Just well away from anybody else. John Boy a bit slidey on the exit to that corner there, but he's managed to keep hold of it. Gary though staying with this front pack here. Can Unorthodox join it and make it a quartet? Let's wait and see. But Andy leads this race. John Boy sat P2's got Gary gaining on him. And it's only now slipstream will be playing into effect here. Gary will really want to start to make sure he can use full advantage of the slipstream. He'll want to take full advantage of every other opportunity gets thrown his way, as will Andy. John Boy looking to the outside of Andy then. 4P1 coming down into the first of the three chicanes on this track. Gary's just dropping off the back a little bit then on orthodubs. 6P4 there, the cameraman picks him up, gaining on the back of Gary 131. We're on lap 5 of 28, they can pit as from lap 9, don't forget. Fury down P5, X-Mark gaining on the back of him. Yeah, no, it's not X-Mark. Emo guy though, sits 7th now, he's got past Swiftmaster, he's trying to get past X-Mark as well. Pace shown by Emo guy at the moment. Swiftmaster down in 8th, Laurie's in 9th, Lodder's 10th, Amazing Pie Boy 11th, Smoky Devil 12th and DJ Phil 13th, and well off the back of this pack. Back to the lead battle though, it's 0.2 of a second separate the two leaders. Gary's still there in the background as is unorthodox. John Boy pulls out and he's going to have to go the long way around at the chicane. He's trying to look for a tricky comeback there on Andy on the exit, don't think so. All he's got to do is stay with him. He knows Andy's not his fight anymore. Just stay with Andy. John Boy to not win the title, he needs to finish. For Gary to win it, Gary needs to win and John Boy needs to finish 7th or lower. Emo Guy needs to win it and John Boy finish 6th or lower. And he needs to win it with fastest lap and John Boy not score a point. Which is very, very unlikely if you ask me. Andy doing a top job so far. He's a bit wide and gets the car all loose and manages to hold on there. And comes back across to defend from John Boy. He nearly lost the rear of that car, but John Boy's now with side by side with Andy into the chicane. Gary will be able to see this up front, just behind. Gary then has the run on John Boy. Can he get the run on Andy as well? Andy goes defensive. Gary gets stopped and turned in and Gary slides up into P2. Question is where's John Boy? He's there, he's got Unorthodox hassling him in the background. So Unorthodox now trying to get in the mix for this, for the podium as well. And there's Fury not too far back, so don't discount Fury. Emo Guy has passed X-Mart as well. Gary into the sharp right-hander. John Boy just gives him a bit of a tap in the rear and it's enough, but Gary keeps it pointing in the right direction and John Boy goes a little slower, possibly holds Unorthodox up there to say to Gary, go on mate, carry on your way. Apologies. But Fury's now on the back of this train. He's right on the back of Unorthodox and look at that, Emo Guy is there as well. So at the moment, Andy needs by 1.5 seconds. Gary 2nd, John Boy 3rd, Unorthodox 4th, Fury 5th, Emo Guy in 6th. So John Boy starts to lose these places and Gary or Emo Guy can get the win. I tell you what, they could be in for the title here, if my maths are correct. And as we know from Tuesday with me and Dan, our maths was not correct. John Boy just a bit twitchy coming through there. Fury now really with these guys as well. I'm sure Ian, aka Emo Guy, want to be on the back of these guys. Unorthodox is looking around the outside of John Boy. And is he going to get that job done here? I think he's going to, you know. No, John Boy's come across and defended it. Now Unorthodox has got Fury to think of. Fury going to look around the outside, a bit of a tap with Unorthodox there, but they managed to keep it going. Nothing more than just a little tip tap. Unorthodox, aka Dan Davis, the Dan dive. Will we see the Dan dive today? Let's wait and see. Nothing to lose for Dan. Everything to gain. Well, nothing to gain, nothing to lose really. Your LMP2 champion last night. Can he take the victory? Or can he get on the podium? He's already won one race tonight in the sprint race. Can he get on the podium for the feature race? Fury's gone up the inside. I tell you what, talk about the Dan dive. Fury has fantastically looked up the inside there. He couldn't quite make it stick though, unfortunately, and will remain P5 at the minute, tucked in. Gary's got that gap back to Andy to 1 now though. And crucially, John Boy sticking with Gary 131 as well. There's Fury, must have a slow down pulse to one side. He's going to let Emo Guy through. Emo Guy now released into P5. So Fury must have got himself a slow down penalty there. Gary 1-3-1. He's gained on Andy quite a bit through turns 1 and 2. John Boy sits third. Is he just starting to lose out a little bit? Unorthodox in 4th place. Emo Guy's now up into 5th. With Fury dropping down to 6th place for that slowdown penalty. Smart sits in 7th place. Ahead of Delore. Lauder's in P9 at the moment. Spliffmaster's 10th. Amazing Pie Boy 11th. Smoky Devil 12th. A little bit of a battle going on there. DJ Phil kind of on his own coming into turn 1 in P13. It's lap 8. Pit window opens lap 9. So the pit window will open next lap. But at the minute, Andy doing everything he needs to do to take the race win. He's driving brilliantly out there. He's got that gap to Gary back up to a 2nd. So what little mistake he must have made, he hasn't now. Absolute bits he's doing at the moment is Andy. He's driving that car to perfection so far. He's doing an absolute cracking job. Can he keep it going? That's the question. Can he keep it in there? Fantastic if he does. You see Unorthodox gaining on the back of John Boy in the background then. This for P3 for the final podium. And it'll help Gary out, especially if John Boy drops down another place in terms of the points. I don't think it'll be enough for Gary, but it'll help him out most definitely. What can they do though? What can he do from here? Gary needs to take the race win. As it stands at the moment, John Boy will be your champion, and so far he's doing what he needs to do. Lap 9 pit window is open then for the drivers who want to make their pit stops. DJ Phil's coming to the last chicane now. Cannot pit until he's crossed the line and completed the next lap. So will we see any early pit stops from anybody? We know Andy loves to go long in the race. Will he maybe change the strategy today and go a bit shorter? What will Gary, John Boy and Unorthodox do? All these guys fighting for them final couple of podium spots. Gary keeping a good gap back to Andy. It was only a couple of hundredths quicker last time around. They were both 4 tenths quicker than John Boy. Gary last time around was the quickest man on track, so heck of a job Gary is doing. Just seems to drop off in places and then gain a bit more time later on in the lap. Andy crucially as well has that time penalty, so crucially if the gap stays as it is, obviously we've got the pit stops to come, could be dropping down into 2nd place for Gary to take the race win, depending on his penalty. Could drop down into P4 at the moment, promoting John Boy and Unorthodox as well. Into the 39s as was Unorthodox, both Andy and Gary only in the 1:40, so John Boy giving it his absolute everything, and looked like he was a bit slidey coming through turn 1 there, and Unorthodox looks like he's got a run on John Boy, and indeed he has. He's got past John Boy, so John Boy down into 4th now. Gary needs to get motoring and try and catch Andy, because he needs to get that race win, with John Boy finishing 7th or lower for the title. Emo Guy kind of in no man's land at the minute. He's 3 seconds off the back of John Boy. 4 seconds ahead of Fury, so kind of in no man's land. Fury's in the same boat. Amazing Pie Boy though is the first one of the pit stop boys, pitting on his 10th lap. DJ Phil only just comes past him now. So Amazing Pie Boy's doing his pit stop then. Lauder's P9, got Smoky Devil on the back of him. Sorry, Delore's P8, got Lauder on the back of him when the cameraman picks them up. There is Lauder on the back of Delore. Smoky Devil's got Spliffmaster for company as well. Well, what's happened to Gary? He's dropped down to P4 here. Unorthodox is running 2nd and John Boy's back up into P3. And Emo Guy's even closer to Gary now. Oh, Gary's gone for a move and he's tapped the back of John Boy. John Boy's going to come into the pits. I think so. He's Gary 131, but what happened to Gary there? He dropped down to P4 and then he's just had a little tap with John Boy. Emo Guy now released into P3. What happened to Gary? I'm not quite sure. Fury as well is in the pit lane. X-Mark will gain a couple of places here then. look at Delore and Lodder here for P8 and 9, although they're going to gain a few places as well due to the pit stops. Spliffmaster's in the pits too. Will DJ Phil pit? We know Amazing Pie Boy already has then, so Smoky Devil Upwards haven't pitted, or DJ Phil so far then. Andy, 3/10 off the back of, unorthodox, 3/10 off the back of Andy at the moment. Emo Guy, X-Mark Lodder, Smoky Devil, DJ Phil and Andy all have time penalties to their name. Here is John Boy on the back of Gary, so Gary's done John Boy in the pit stops then. Can Gary now stay in front? Head down to chase Smoky Devil. That gap is about 11 seconds to them. So Smoky Devil plenty of time to get into the pits and maybe out the way before they catch. A mistake at the chicane there then. Delore still trying to get past Lodder, or to repass Lodder, should I say. Andy and Unorthodox out front. Racing a brilliant race so far. Emo Guy in the background. I'm sure he'll want to get on that podium and score the race win, especially because if he was to win the race and John Boy finish where he is at the moment, I know people's got to pit. If John Boy was to finish where he was now, when Emo Guy wins the race, Emo Guy would win the title. So good effort from Emo Guy. John Boy still on the back of Gary, sorry. Amazing Pie Boy down to 12, Spliffmaster down to 13th. DJ Phil hasn't pitted. Lodder is now in the pit lane. How quick can his pit stop be? Gary leads from John Boy then at the moment. That's for P7 on track. He should pass Lodder coming out of the pits. So that's for P7 now. Orthodox still on the back of Andy. Emo Guy gaining on in the background. Ain't nearly enough for a second over Unorthodox last lap. Gained 2 seconds on Andy last lap. So Emo Guy really pushing. Emo Guy needs John Boy to finish 6th or lower, and that'll be the title for Emo Guy. Unorthodox then trying to get on the back of Andy. Can he make a move? None of the top 3 are pitting so far. There's X-Mark just ahead of Delore. Delore having a better second race here, better showing. Got past Lodder nice and easy. Do one of these two decide to pit? X-Mark stays out, as does Delore. You've got Smoky Devil then, currently running P6. John Boy's got ahead of Gary crucially as well. So John Boy up to 7th, Gary down to 8th. Gary's not going to let that one go without a fight. There's Fury and Lodder in the background of Gary and John Boy, you see there then. Can Gary get back in front of John Boy, or has John Boy managed to get in front of Gary and go here? Sure, Gary's going to want to stick with him. Back up front now, Unorthodox has just dropped off the back of Andy a little bit, and he's got Emo Guy breathing down the back of his neck. What can Emo Guy do from here? P3, still to pit. At 13 of 28, Andy's cruising out front now, 2.3, and Unorthodox must have made a mistake somewhere or got to slow down, but he's let Emo Guy through them. So Emo Guy is up into 2nd place. DJ Phil is finally in the pits for his pit stops, which is from P6 upwards, who have not pitted yet. So where does Emo Guy come out after his pit stop then? That's the big question. Currently sat P1 from Emo Guy, Unorthodox. X-Martin 4th with Delore 5th. Smoky Devil's in 6th place. John Boy 7th, starting to pull away from Gary ever so slowly. Fury 9th. Lodder 10th. Amazing Pie Boy 11th. Spliffmaster in 12th. And DJ Phil just coming out of the pits, P13. And as Andy's coming up towards the final, towards turn 1, Andy, Emo Guy and Unorthodox have not pitted yet. Neither is X-Mark, Delore or Smoky Devil, but the only one we had to time penalty against his name is Unorthodox Crusader. There's DJ Phil just exiting the pits. We'll be getting the blue flags. Gary's got back in front of John Boy. In fact, Fury as well has got back in front of John Boy. John Boy, just a bit of a tap with Fury there, maybe. John Boy then has dropped down to P9, so what has happened to him? And crucially for the title, that could go against him. Fury has let John Boy go. I think Fury's got to slow down as well because Lauder comes flying past. So John Boy back up into P8 then, and has dropped well off the back of Gary. 2.5 seconds he's got to find to get back on the back of Gary there then. So what happened to John Boy? And when do people start to make their pit stops then? The top 6 I believe haven't pitted, so when they start to pit, when's Emo Guy I think pulling the trigger as well? Time penalties for Andy and Emo Guy up front. X-Mark, Delore, Smoky Devil, Lauder and DJ Phil also have a time penalty. It's indicated by the red symbol on the position number. That's how you know if they've got a time penalty or not. There is Emo Guy. Got Unorthodox right behind him. About 14 of 28. 15 to go. And Unorthodox is going to come into the pits now then. So Unorthodox in the pit lane he comes. I wonder if he can get in and out before John Boy and Gary come round. That'll be an interesting one to watch. Can Unorthodox get out the pits before John Boy and Gary get here? Gary's coming down to the sharp right-hander now before the final chicane. And Unorthodox still in the pit lane here. He's away now. Gary and John Boy just coming towards the last chicane. So at the moment, Unorthodox looks like he's got the jump over Gary and John Boy here. And off the limiter he goes. Now he's coming out the pit lane now. Now this view will tell you a lot. Watch for Unorthodox emerging on the left hand side of the track. And where's Gary? Where is Gary and John Boy? That to me is Smoky Devil. There's Unorthodox. And Gary's there in the background, look. So Gary could not gain that much time on Unorthodox there. Can Unorthodox keep ahead of Smoky Devil? Smoky Devil all over the back of him since Unorthodox came out the pit lane. Been a couple of corners though, so give down time to get the tyres back up to full working temp. Oh, here he goes, he's cruising now, he's down. Doing absolute bits. Now that's important because if he jumped John Boy and Gary, this man could jump John Boy and Gary, and Gary's only got to finish P6. He's down in 8th at the moment. Andy's into the pits, as is Emo Guy then. So where will these two feed out compared to this man, John Boy? Starting to gain on the back of Gary. Question is, it's all about this pit stop for these two here. Emo Guy's away, as is Andy, and has Emo Guy jumped Andy in the pits, I think? No, he got away before, but he hasn't jumped him. So Delore leads this race. You've just seen him go past. There's Andy and Emo Guy. Where's Gary? Gary and John Boy coming into the final chicane now. As Andy and Emo Guy are off the pit limiter. X-Mark and Smoky Devil pit as well. So look out for Unorthodox coming around turn 1. There is Unorthodox. There's Andy, there's Emo Guy. So they've both stayed in front of Unorthodox. Delore still to pit, but crucially John Boy 6th. Now if Delore stays in front, by my calculations, Emo Guy could win the title if he wins this race and John Boy stays where he is at the moment. I will just do the maths and double check on that one, but I do believe that this could be a decisive point here. So if Emo Guy wins the race, put him on 307. If John Boy finishes P6, put him on 306. So yeah, John Boy, if he gets the fastest lap, it'll go down to race wins, which we'll have to have a look at. But Emo Guy needs this race win. It's a title on here for Emo Guy. Delore still to pit as well. Still plenty of time left in this race. Lap 16 of 18. When will Delore decide to pull the trigger? That is the question then at the moment. When does it? Well, he's not pitting this lap, so he's decided he's not pulling the trigger this lap. That is a shame. But what can this man do about Andy? He's got to get past Andy. He knows he's got to win this race with John Boy being in the position he's in to stand a chance at the title. Now John Boy is currently 6th and will lose out on the title by a point depending on who's got fastest lap of this race. This is the time of season I love because it's absolutely fascinating to see who can do what and who can finish where. Because John Boy's got to be on it now, knows that he's either got to get fastest lap, which will take it to race wins, which let me double check who's got the most race wins. I'll get back to you on that one in a moment, but he knows that if he passes Gary, then he's won the title. But at the minute, Emo Guy has 2 race wins to his name, and because he needs to win this one, he'll have 3 race wins to his name, whereas John Boy's only had the 1. So Emo Guy really needs to win this race. He'll win it on race wins, even if John Boy gets the fastest lap. By my calculations, as it stands, John Boy will not win this title at the moment. Gain an extra 3 points if he finishes 5th, which will be enough even if Emo Guy takes the fastest lap. It would be enough on points to take the title by a point as well there. So very tight here between Andy and between Emo Guy and John Boy. There is Andy currently defending from Emo Guy at the moment. There is John Boy trying to attack Gary. Now the problem is he does not want an incident with Gary. There's an incident, and if he goes off and gets overtaken by Lauder or something, will put him in even more jeopardy. Down into lap 17 of 28. Catching Delore at the moment. John Boy and Gary lapping quicker than every car in front of them so far. And Emo Guy's ahead of Andy here. So he's got past Andy then. Now, that is crucial for the title, because as it stands, when Delore pits, if Delore can come out of the pit lane ahead of John Boy, as it stands, Emo Guy will win the title. But second place, not good enough. The extra 30 points will put him on 302. The extra 20 points for John Boy will put him on 306. So he'll lose out by 4 points without fastest lap at the moment. Emo Guy needs that race win with John Boy 6th or lower. He knows he will win the title on the race win, so what can Emo Guy do here? He's doing what he needs to so far. He's got that time penalty as well, so needs to kind of pull away from Andy and unorthodox if he's going to stand a chance of keeping clear of that time penalty. Lap 18 of 28, so we're coming into the back end of this race on the Season 5 finale here at Zolder. Delore's coming up to lap DJ Phil. In fact, Delore's in the pits. Now, this is the crucial time. Delore's in. John Boy and Gary coming down towards the final chicane. How quick a pit stop can Delore have here? He needs to come out ahead of John Boy for Emo Guy to stand a chance of winning this title. He's in the pits. Emo Guy's about to go past. So does Andy. So does Unorthodox. They're all flashing their lights. Where's John Boy and Gary? There's Gary and John Boy. Delore's only just getting into his pit box, so they will cruise past him. And ultimately, John Boy in the driver's seat now for the championship. P5 needs 6th or lower for this man Emo Guy to stand a chance. But John Boy will win the title from this position. Doesn't need to do anything stupid or reckless. And he's going up the inside of Gary 131. Gary's going to try and keep it around the outside, but I think John Boy may have him done for 4th place here. And John Boy, yes, up into P4. Great drive from him. Can Gary respond then? So John Boy's up into 4th place at the moment. And he did that nice and easy. Did it the easy way so far. No mistakes from John Boy at the moment. 25 points he'll receive. Emo Guy will get 35 for the win. In fact, Andy has repassed Emo Guy then. In the lead is Andy. Can Emo Guy do him around the outside? No, Andy takes that lead back at the chicane. Gary dropping off the back of John Boy and dropping off the back 0.8 of a second, and they've only just overtaken each other. So at the moment, John Boy will sit fourth and will win the title so far. Battle not done up front though. Emo Guy coming back at Andy then. They're coming up to lap DJ Phil. Fury now the man sat P6. Is this Unorthodox having a look at Emo Guy? No, tucks back in. Thinks better of that one. Lap 19 coming down to start lap 20 of 28. So this race coming to an end. And Emo Guy needs that lead back, but crucially, this man will win the title in this position so far. What a race we're seeing here. Lodder on the back of Fury. This for P6. There's Fury running in 6th, having a good night tonight is Fury. Driving really well. Emo Guy having to defend from Unorthodox. Crazy now. Needs to get back on the tail of Andy. Needs to get back past Andy. It's not going to do a lot, but if he just gets past him, then that will help him out. Dan really taking to two wheels there in that began clipping the curbs really hard there. What can Gary do? John Boy chucking it in. Gary's trying to follow through. Can Gary gain on John Boy here? Gary looking good so far. Can he stay with John Boy? That is the ultimate question. Emo Guy dropping off the back of Andy 131. Of Andy 131, of Andy WFC, sorry. 131 is Gary's number on the back of his PSN name. And Emo Guy has that got down to half a second so far. Coming down the start straight, start lap 21 of this race. DJ Phil in the pits again. So we're on to lap 21 now. 7 to go. Andy has a slight lead over Emo Guy. Can Emo Guy get past him here? What he needs to at the minute, just being caught by Unorthodox through this first sector. Emo Guy looks quick at the end of the lap, but that beginning part of the lap's really letting him down at the minute. Seems to be struggling through there, and John Boy's managed to get a second ahead of Gary. And sort of dropped Gary a little bit as well, so Gary not being able to stick to the back of John Boy like he would have hoped to do. Lodder's gone back ahead of Fury for 6th place. Was that slow on the grass? Oh, it's DJ Phil slow on the grass, probably keeping out of backmarker's way. So good job by DJ Phil. Back to this battle at the front though. Emo Guy having to defend from Unorthodox. And Unorthodox, is he going to have a look into the right hander? No, he's not. Tucks that one back in and thinks better of that one. Dan must have had a slowdown penalty because he's dropped well off the back. Like really has dropped off the back of the leaders here, and Emo Guy is all over the back of Andy coming down towards turn 1. He goes again. Can he get this job done so far? Gary's back ahead of John Boy, so not sure what happened there, but John Boy's dropped well off the back of Gary. 11 seconds ahead of Lodder, pretty much 12. So we'll still win the title at the moment. If he's made a mistake and makes another one, he needs to get rid of that before he has a big one. Just cruise around. Know he's going to win the title. 22 laps done, 28 still to go. 7 left to watch. 7 left to commentate on this season. Emo Guy pushing for this title. Really wants to win this one here. Breaks into the chicane and Andy still leads this one from Emo Guy. 8 tenths up the road from Ian, the Flying Scotsman. Andy said he wanted to go out with a bang with a race win. He's doing just that at the moment. He's done well there. He just can't seem to shake Ian at the moment. They've dropped on orthodubs. That gap's gone up to 5 seconds. So Unorthodox has dropped well off the back of this pace. What about Gary and John Boy then? Gary needs to win this race with John Boy finishing 7th and Emo Guy finishing low down. Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen at the moment, does it? Andy pretty much all but out of this title race. Emo Guy sits 2nd in the title, just needs John Boy to finish 6th or lower. John Boy is dropping off the back of Gary 131 here. That gap's now gone up to 4-5 seconds. The gap between John Boy and Lodder is coming down slightly as well. So not what John Boy would have wanted here so far. Has he made another slight mistake? Lap 23 of 28. These are your 2 race leaders then. Andy 131 leads from Emo Guy. Both flashing the lights. Emo Guy really trying to put Andy off, trying to get past Andy. 0.4 of a second is the gap between Andy and Emo Guy. Fury gaining on the back of Lauder. I'm sure Emo Guy will want this man here, who's going to be your current touring car champion for season 5. Oh, that's Gary off just up in front. What's Gary done coming through the chicane there? Made a bit of a mistake, and that's allowed John Boy to really gain on the back of him. So Gary made a slight mistake there, and John Boy's now on the back of him then. This for P5 again. Gary's got a slowdown penalty because he's letting John Boy by. So I think Gary got a slowdown penalty because he's not just let John Boy by, he's let John Boy go. 2nd up the road already. So John Boy back into P4. Gary's mistake has let John Boy back into P4. He's just got to hold it now. Lap 23 of 28 coming out to start the 24th. Oh no, we've just started the... No, we're on lap 24, sorry, I apologise. I've just started the 24th lap. These guys are just about to start their 24th. Two laps ago, John Boy went behind Gary again. He said he's just got to hold it for the title. He's now back in front of Gary. He really has got to keep it there. What did Gary do coming through that chicane? He's got 10 seconds back to Fury, who's got past Lauder. So Fury will be really wanting to come and help out Emo Guy in the same livery. Help each other a lot through these races, which I'm sure he'd love to help his buddy out. He's really hassling Andy here, his Emo Guy. He's really wanting to make sure that he can get past and get this race win to try and do what he needs to do. John Boy has really dropped Gary here. Gary's down to 8 seconds behind. In fact, he's had another off with the looks of it as Gary 131. Only 3 seconds up the road from this man Fury. Has it just swung the way of John Boy then? I wonder. Emo Guy still looking for a way through. And he's practically pushing Andy through turn 2 there, look. He's practically pushing him through turn 2. But cannot find the move. Cannot get this job done here. Emo Guy's doing so well to hang on. Sorry, Andy's doing so well to hang on. Emo Guy's doing so well to keep this pressure up for so long. It's going to be for nothing though. Because 2nd isn't enough and a win isn't enough. With John Boy sat P4 currently. Gary has got Fury closing on him. There is John Boy P4. This is the battle though for the race lead. Cameraman picks them up coming up over the hill and down we go. Such can that dip really can affect the car. Coming through that dip. You see Andy's car sort of just bouncing along through it. But he's doing the job he needs to so far. 6/10 up the road from Emo Guy. Has Emo Guy picked the right time to spot where he might make the mistake? And if he has, can he make sure he can get the job done? DJ Phil's in the pits again. Gap down to 0.5 of a second. They've pulled out from John Boy still as well. Lodders again on the back of Fury here. All this for P7. So we come down, start lap 26 of 28. 3 to go then here. And at the moment, John Boy will be crowned as champion. Cracking battle from these two. How Emo Guy has kept up this pressure for so long in this race, I do not know. But he has done absolute bits to keep that pressure on Andy. And Andy would have worked hard for this race win, defending so well. He would have worked very hard to get this race win. Don't you worry about that one. Andy will be sweating, I bet, after this. He's really had to work for this one. Emo Guy as close as he has been all night. What can he do? Can he get the move done on Andy here? I'm sure he'd love to get a move for the lead. Has he got the time to do it though? We're coming around to start lap 27 in just a moment. So he's running out of laps. Knows it's now or never, does Emo Guy. 0.2 of a second. The gap is as close as it's been all night between these two. And really putting on a good display here. Andy having to defend hard from Emo Guy and vice versa. Emo Guy having to attack really hard as well. Flashing the lights, both of them. So they know what they need. Emo Guy knows what he needs to do. He's just got to try and make sure he passes Andy. And at the minute he can't. That was a real good attacking manoeuvre that from Emo Guy, but he could not get that job done there. So we're still struggling to get past him at the moment. Currently John Boy sits P4 and Orthodubs has got himself a time penalty as well. So currently John Boy sits P4 and will be your champion. As it stands at the moment, will win the title by 4 points if my maths are right. 4 or 5 points. Coming around then to start the final lap of this race. And Emo Guy now knows it's now or never. He's got to get this move done. He's got to get this one sorted. Can he get the race win here as we heading down towards the final lap, onto the final lap of the race? This man 14 seconds behind has the title wrapped up as it stands. But I'm telling you now, Emo Guy will not let this go without a fight. That is for sure. Andy has driven a fantastic defensive race all afternoon. Emo Guy's driven a fantastic attacking race all evening. They've both been brilliant in this one. Lodder back in the pits again from P8. Delores up into 6th. Is this Emo Guy having a look at Andy on the final lap of the race? got to get it done. He's going to try and go around the outside, and they give each other respect and plenty of room, and Andy just hangs on for the race lead at the moment. But Emo Guy's really trying to fight it in there with only a couple of corners to go now. It's now or never for the Flying Scotsman. A flash of the lights again. Andy responds in flashing his lights, and Emo Guy knows it's now or never. John Boy still has time to make a mistake at the moment. He's coming up to a back marker on track. And Emo Guy, 2 corners to go. The left-right chicane. He's going to look up the inside, and is he going to send one on Andy? Later on the brakes, can he keep it there? He's going to be on the outside for the final part, and they touch a little bit. Give each other respect, and I think Emo Guy's just in front. He's narrowly in front. And on the last lap, the last corner, Emo Guy's going to take the win. No, Andy gets the win through the penalties. Emo Guy second. Unorthodox will get third, with John Boy then your champion this season. He's done what he needed to do tonight, and he's going to take the championship. John Boy, your touring car champion for season 5. What a drive from him. Top job. Gary dropped off towards the end. He's going to come home for a P5. Delore hanging on from Fury in the end for 6th place. I think he's going to do it depending on the time penalties. Flash of the lights from both. Delore 6th, Fury 7th. Exmart looks like he's going to cross the line 8th after a good sprint race earlier. Lauder is going to come home to take P9. Smoky Devils finished in P11. Amazing Pie Boys finished in 12. DJ Phil is 13th somewhere. Can't quite see where DJ Phil is. DJ Phil out of fuel? No, he's not out of fuel. Not quite sure what's happening with DJ Phil. Lauder then going to come home to take P9. Spliffmaster, Jamie Brazier saying, what a move, congrats to John Boy. Yeah, massive congrats. Spliffmaster will take 10th. He's got to wait for DJ Phil to finish, but this man here is your champion for season 5. If my maths are correct, John Boy is the champion of the touring car. And what a drive it's been from him tonight. He's done everything he needed to do. John Boy then, your touring car champion. Commiserations to Emo Guy. He did everything he needed to do. He drove a fantastic race, but it wasn't enough to beat Andy. Time penalties cost him in the end. 2 seconds is what he needed, and he couldn't get there. But John Boy, fantastic job from him. Hard luck to Emo Guy, Andy, and Gary 131, who was up for the title tonight as well. But great racing from everybody throughout the grid. That's it for this season then here at Motive Racing. Join us for our Splash and Dash competition that we have got, that we'll have upcoming soon. More information about that at www.motiveracing.com and on our Discord server. So make sure you join us for that one. From all of us here, we look forward to seeing you all for season 6. Can John Boy defend his touring car title? From everyone here at Motive though, thank you and good evening.